Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. It is the last day of week 7 of LCS Challengers. The last day before we get into our playoffs. That's crazy. The time has just absolutely flown by.
7 weeks.
Have you found your agenda yet? I'm trying to figure out what that panicked look was.
What?
What the panicked look?
What the panicked look for me?
And you're just like, what's going on? Where is it?
No, so I didn't have any of my stuff on 3 monitors and everything's on the wrong monitor. I'm freaking out. We're about to go live.
Sorry, Steve. You had something actually
It's always
important.
the last moments that you realize everything's wrong.
But I could tell you were heartbroken. It's the last day.
Oh, that part? I mean, yeah, it's sad. I mean, we still have a lot of playoffs and, I have to deal with y'all in, meetings and stuff, too. But, the last day of the regular season, I mean, it is sad. It is exciting. And there is a lot on the line today, which is surprising to say, considering something we talk about a lot in the season is, hey, we're just looking for development here.
First of all, you just said you have to deal with us in meetings. That hurts. Second of all, yeah, the big story of the day is the tiebreakers, because this is a single round robin, and we do have some of those that are potentially coming up. I think that's going to be really fun to track throughout the day, because we get all the tiebreaker scenarios on our stream. So you're tuning into the right one, everybody.
Yeah, we'll make sure we can get more of that. We'll get more ties on the broadcast as the rest of the day does go on. But the big thing here is I am really surprised at the number of tiebreakers that are still possible and some tiebreakers that aren't possible, right? The first place, it's not possible to have a tiebreaker there.
True. Of course, that's because Cloud9, even though it's possible for the games to be tied between the two teams, Cloud9 do have more 2-0s than Dignitas Challengers do. And so we weight it more heavily that way. So if anybody was confused, if you're looking at the record, you're like, wait, but there's a chance it's tied. It's like, nope. They did split the head-to-head, but Cloud9 have 2 more 2-0s than Dignitas, so it's impossible for Dignitas Challengers to catch them in that regard.
So there's not a scenario here, Jochi, where both you and Desrex have to shave?
Well, there was never a scenario where we both had to shave. That was our secret, guy.
That was the secret. All right.
Also, I mean, they would have had, if there was a tiebreaker, they would have to play that, and then whoever loses the tiebreaker would have to shave. So I think that would still, it's going to happen no matter what.
But, last day, but we do have a couple of things, normal business to be going through. And, of course, later in the week, always like to check out our community tweets, see what people are saying. I missed
Let's go.
this.
Yesterday was ENEPA Stern's birthday.
That's really well-drawn cake. Good job, Lizelle.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people went out to celebrate his 21st over in Sawtell yesterday. Unfortunately, I was on the opposite side of LA and couldn't make it, but it was still very cool. Happy birthday, 21st birthday to APA.
Yes, happy belated birthday. It's exciting stuff. And being able to be out in an area where a bunch of people can celebrate with you, it's even better. Joshi doesn't show up. I'm sorry, but
Wow.
Sorry,
Ooh,
that was
savage today, Josh.
Yeah, what type of energy we were going into last day with, and apparently this is it. So,
you know what? I love it. I'm living for it, Sierra. Keep it up.
Kangas is like, heck yes, as long as I'm not the one being bullied.
Yeah, for once, somebody didn't call me bald within the first 2 seconds of broadcast.
That's you. Let's keep it moving, though.
All right, next one from Alec Battery. Beta Food, listening to NACL from the other room. Why is Skater playing the Sandra support?
It is poggers.
It's for the memes.
For the memes.
It's last week,
Yeah, having some fun with it.
Yeah, so
standings are always already.
Alec, there's your answer there. Pentakill and Chiga and Jokath. We have a fun day for Neo. What is? Oh, is the picture just the profile picture, or I'm just?
It is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking deep at this picture. What am I missing here? All right.
No, that's Cho'Gath and
that's a shadow of Cho'Gath. You can see him on the ground right there.
Oh yeah, true.
Now we've had a lot of pentakills this split. By the way, I think we're up to 5 now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Lost the bag in the end of game 2, but fun 1-1 series, GG's 100 Thieves. A little bit of a rematch that we saw previously based on how Team Liquid and 100 Thieves have been at each other's throats for so many best of 5s throughout the past couple of seasons. See if that continues this year.
And we got one more tweet ahead of us.
Oh, this was cute.
Oh no, into game 2. Glad I was able to see the famous A-tier lead in game 1.
So there's a little lore behind this because the podcast Raising NA, is that what it's called? Wait, what's your
It
podcast?
is, yeah. Every Tuesday from the Caster Command. No,
there we go.
Casa de Caster.
From Casa de Caster. Actually did a tier list of Graves players, and he had Chad quite low. I think it was D tier. Was that it?
That was the Lee Sin, to be fair.
Oh, okay. Okay, on the Lee Sin. So Graves tier list, he's S then.
All right. Well, I'm going to get caught up on the lore. Well, everyone else, we have our most valuable prospect discussion that we always like to do near the end of our split. So this is a chance for everyone to get caught up with that and see who our front runners are.
With the end of the regular season rapidly approaching, it's time for us to start talking about our most valuable prospect award. Remember, in order to be eligible, you need to have played at least 5 of the 7 weeks of the regular season. Additionally, the most valuable prospect is awarded to the player that we have faith will garner their team the most wins should they be promoted to LCS over the next calendar year and the year after that. However, Unforgiven is too good. It's disingenuous for us to call the LEC first All-Pro AD carry a prospect. In a developmental league, this guy is already developed. However, let's still talk about some of our other frontrunners.
All right, let's talk about MNS. He's still leading the league in solo kills and has shown in LCS that he's ready for that level. But that's the thing, he's already playing in LCS. The most valuable prospect is first and foremost a developmental award. So we made the decision to remove MNS from consideration due to his current role in LCS for Cloud9.
To no one's surprise, Mir has made a big splash in the LCS Challengers League and is one of our frontrunners for most valuable prospect. Mir is leading all junglers in gold difference at 15, along with XP difference at 15, and is also leading junglers in first blood percentage, as half of the first bloods that TL challengers have been through a Mir kill or assist, while he's only been the victim of one once. Mir's early game presence has been phenomenal. The game plans are sound with TLC, but also Mir's mechanics at later stages of the game have proven that he can be a jungler that is even someone to be feared in a meta that is not necessarily his, looking at what he's played in the past.
Masu came out of nowhere last summer, and despite it being his first split of competitive play, he showed great mechanics and confidence. This year, he's looking even better, going toe-to-toe with some of the best marksmen we have in Challengers League, while spending the majority of the split on 100+ ping. That nickname Wi-Fi Wizard was not a joke. Since physically joining FlyQuest Challengers, he's looking better than ever, and with the growth he's shown in this short amount of time, the next few years are looking bright for him.
My MVP frontrunner for the 2023 NACL Spring Split season is none other than 100 Thieves Challengers jungler Yukino. If you need stunning plays, a brilliant mind, and that improvement mindset that will take you to the top, this is your guy. He might be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but he'll come steal your lunch money.
Who'd we miss? Let us know on Twitter with hashtag NACL.
Yes, please let us know if we missed anyone or who you think should be in talks for our most valuable prospect. I'm excited to always figure out who our most valuable prospect's going to be, because this was way too long of a meeting last year with Joshi.
Longer this time, don't worry.
It was you and Covey fighting it out. And
we have different opinions again.
Yeah,
I hope you're ready.
This is going to be a long Wednesday ahead of us, that's for sure. But
so those are just the front runners, though. And we do the top 5 list at the end of every split. That's not to say that those will be the players in the top 5, but those are some of the names that were on our minds going into the final week. Obviously, we have to see the final week to make the final decisions on who's going to make that top 5 cut.
It's true. And the standings ahead of us, because as we already touched on top of show, it is going to be a big day here. The standings, I mean, yes, it's nice to see, like, oh yeah, this is impressive from this team, this is impressive for another team. But the big thing here is to look at where people are going to be seated for the playoffs next week.
Yeah. And you see that there's a lot of teams who are currently with the same record, but might have different places currently in the standings. That is worth noting that a lot of those will kind of end up that way, right? You do have to pay a lot of attention to, first off, it's the number of game wins, then the number of match wins, so the number of 2-0s they have, and that's when we start looking at things like the head-to-head afterwards. So it's part of why Cloud9 is currently ahead of Dignitas, because as you pointed out earlier, Steve, Dignitas, while they've never lost a series, haven't won as many series.
It's kind of crazy to think about that. They're the only team to still never go 0-2. And based on the schedule today, unlikely they will get 0-2'd today, so they could end the split like when you look at it from the bottom perspective, like bottom up, it feels good to say, oh, we had no O2s, but then yeah, Cloud9 still had more 2-0s. So that's just the way that the weighting works. I personally don't think it's that good. I like the fact that Dignitas can flex, nobody 2-0'd us, but you know, it is how it is.
Hey, it's its own little flex, all right? Even if it doesn't come quite through on the standings. But we talked about the B stream is going to be where all the shenanigans have the potential to happen here, looking ahead at our tiebreakers. It can be a long day. So to quickly refresh, if any tiebreakers are to happen, it's going to be resolved in a best of one. That's going to be continuation after the rest of broadcast. So it has the potential to be a long day for us, for our players, and for the viewers. Golden Guardians go 1-1 today. Here, going up against Golden Guardians of Wildcard go 1-1. TLC versus Wildcard. What's fun about this is
they play each other.
That's our last match of the day. So
they could just split 1-1 in that series, and then we have 2 extra
exactly.
games. They'll be played on both streams then. So there's of course the Challengers League Twitch stream, and we're on path to LCS. If there are multiple tiebreakers, we will split them up throughout the streams. That's the most likely that could happen. The other opportunity is if, of course, you can see on the screen, there's a lot that would need to happen for Immortals and AoE to have their tiebreaker. AoE would need to get a game off of Dignitas, and then FlyQuest has to 2-0 Immortals. I think the FlyQuest 2-0 Immortals is more likely than AoE picking up a game off of Dignitas, who are still looking good.
I would also say, though, that the fact that Immortals went 1-1 against Dignitas yesterday actually makes the AoE picking up a game here way more likely.
Fair enough, actually, yeah.
We could have a very, very long day ahead of us, considering these are all pretty likely scenarios.
True.
But we'll be able to at least resolve one right out of the gate, or at least get a little bit closer to knowing, because it will be FlyQuest Challengers going up against Immortals. Be able to see just how that's going to shake up if FlyQuest can, in fact, go ahead and 2-0 them. Then it'll be Dignitas going up against AoE, and of course, to end things off, our Problem Child series, Wildcard going up against Golden Guardians. Hey, considering all they have to do is 1-1 and we get 2 extra games, I don't think that's I don't think it's a stretch.
Wow.
It'll be a fun game to watch.
Do we get 2 extra games? I'm pretty sure it's only 1 extra game.
Well, isn't that
Hold on.
No, because I'm pretty sure if they
Oh, no, you're right. We will get 2 extra games. The Problem Children.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wildcard. Sorry, Golden Guardians. You heard it here first.
Hey, it'll be, regardless, it'll be
we love you both
interesting
equally.
Yeah,
that's what all of our parents have told us, right?
Yeah.
It's only said with love, all right? Now, to start things off, though, FlyQuest Challengers going up against Immortals Challengers. This one should be really interesting because FlyQuest, as the split has gone on and on, they have just looked better and better as their roster has come together. But Immortals, despite all the strength that this roster has, the last couple of weeks look shaky. Of course, the wins doesn't necessarily matter, but don't necessarily want to look shaky when we have playoffs right around the corner.
It's just crazy that a team that is 50-50 in their wins and losses is bottom of the standings. Or not bottom of the standings, but like in the bottom third of teams. Not even bottom half, it's bottom third, right? Because of how, low, of course, the Fly Fams and the CLG Faiths are. Many teams are picking up wins against them, 2-0s. So the top half of the 50-50 is like really weighted highly. And I think Immortals, Progressive Challengers were a team that we had some expectations coming into the season for because of players returning like Chad. We were really excited for players like Balulu to come in, who's not kind of pulling double duty here.
Yeah.
And I still think that they could surge. They always have deep runs in past proving grounds, even if they would have sometimes shaky seasons. So I think there's still faith. Joey said it himself. They always scale as they go throughout the season.
And at least week 7's looked like pretty decent for them too. Like this is a long week for quite a few of our teams, and they've been doing a really decent job so far.
Yeah, the fact that they picked up a game yesterday against Dignitas Challengers is a big shout out for Immortals, especially since they're getting less time to practice with Balulu. He's kind of just showed up on the day because he's been scrimming with the LCS team for the most part, while they try and find a new player to come in. And it has been an interesting season for sure to watch Immortals Progressive because it feels as though so much of their strength has really come down to how well their bottom lane is actually performing on the day.
That'll be a big thing looking into today, too. I mean, FLYC was someone that was definitely really hyped up last split in 2022 here. So we're going to really need to see if FLYC can really show up and pop off in this series.
Yeah. We got to see a little bit of it last week, right? This is his quadra kill going up against CLG Faith. And it's been, again, we have to keep in mind how well FLYC and Joey are actually going to be playing, because when they actually beat Dignitas Challengers, played pretty well. But when they lost to FlyFam, they were not performing at all. And so much of this team's success is going to depend on whether or not FLYC and Joey can have one of those good days against one of the best bottom lanes in the league.
And the crazy thing is that they're up against, like you said, one of the best bottom lanes in a league with some crazy power in the bot lane. But Masu has stepped up. He was playing remote. Now he's been in LA for, I believe this is his second full week. And Winsome is still rocking 100% win rate in Challengers.
Yes.
He has a chance to go 100% win rate in, because of course it was Keetong subbing in while Winsome was playing LCS. Now Ayla is in LCS, so Winsome's here in the Challengers League. Masu and Winsome have been a power duo since Masu's been in LA, and they've been playing together. Winsome's been elevating the team shot calling. We got to interview Masu, and he was talking about that everyone's talking more. And you can see it in the gameplay, too. We'll get a look at some of the clips. Some of them are from earlier in the season to highlight just what Masu was able to accomplish when he was on high ping. He was playing a lot of things that were very mechanically intensive. I think this was one of their games from this last weekend, though. So showing off some of their kind of team play and how they're working together. I think that Masu's target selection has been good all split, but now that he's got better connection, less ping that he's worrying about, we're starting to see it play out even more so in a lot of these team fights. Moments like this on the FLYC where, you know, there's a clear target right in front of you, but you say, no, I see the enemy AD carry alone. He also played Yasuo, which is really hyped, and now we're getting to see some more mechanically intensive champs come out from him. Very excited about Masu's future. There's a reason he was in our MVP frontrunner conversation.
I think it's very funny to me that Masu is a player who we have very clearly seen the difference of playing on high ping versus playing on low ping, where he will cleanse things before they hit him, because that's what he's been used to doing.
His play was at 150 ping, and he does that. It's like, that's kind of crazy.
And so we'll get to continue seeing how well he performs going up here. We have high expectations for this player, high expectations for this bot lane, and high expectations for FlyQuest, who are surging at exactly the right time.
Yeah, since Winsome has joined, I mean, it's in the name. They've only been winning. They've got 6 in a row against some really good teams, so we'll have to see if they can continue that domination going up today. Of course, Immortals do need to try and show up, because this could be the first part of our tiebreakers if FlyQuest gets this 2-0. So it's time to head to draft and see how it shakes up.
Thank you. Sierra Immortals can prevent a long day for themselves and a longer day for us as well on the broadcast by just picking up a win. Shut down Winsome's undefeated streak in Challengers. Take down FlyQuest Challengers, who have gone through 100 Thieves, Team Liquid, and Golden Guardians. Not slouches in their run here in the final 2 weeks of the season. They're looking solid, and I'm very excited to see what Immortals are cooking up.
Yeah, we'll see what Immortals can actually do, right? They have not had an easy end of the split at all, and now that they're going to FlyQuest Challengers, it's interesting to me that we are seeing a big pivot. We've been seeing a lot of teams really focus on trying to shut down a lot of different AD carries come through, but it's only the 2 AD carries who have this really big engage tool, and so now we're shifting over to FLYC, who has been one of these characters that has become popular a little bit again, especially with the rise of Thresh being a strong support, and we can kind of see how well Masu will be able to pilot this, because having high ping on FLYC is basically unplayable.
And he did pull it out earlier this weekend, so this means Immortals probably want to take away the Thresh. Do not give the Thresh FLYC combo. I know Joey does pilot the champion, so it would make sense if they go for it. They could pair with the Jinx, so they were hovering the Thresh, they lock in the Jinx first. Try to match some of the scaling with the FLYC. Also, she can outrange him a little bit, depending on the guns that he has in lane.
Yeah. We also haven't seen any of our junglers picked up just quite yet, right? We haven't had a whole lot of ban. I guess we have had 3, right? We have the Vi, the Sejuani, and the Gragas, also predominantly a jungle champion right now with the full AP and the Night Harvester, and instead it's going to be Chad picking up the Jarvan, but it is important to remember this Jarvan is technically flexible. We have been seeing the rise of Jarvan top come through a little bit.
That's a good point. I am concerned with a Jarvan, no matter where it goes, because the idea of engaging onto an Aphelios with a Thresh Lantern, like, that's a pretty good tool to just get out of the engage of a J4, and I assume that FlyQuest Challengers will just lock in that Thresh now. The fact that Immortals didn't grab it means maybe they feel they have a counter. Maybe they're going to go for something like a Morgana, a Braum, something that can, stop what the Thresh is trying to do in lane.
That is something that Joey has developed quite a bit this year, is his willingness to go for odd counter picks and unusual support pairings with his AD carry, right? I think the first one that really comes to mind was when Wixie and Joey were playing Jhin Xerath earlier in this play, as I think the only support Xerath player so far, because we definitely saw Serenok play it at least once or twice in the mid lane. Yeah, but as we look back at the rest of it, it is, as you said, a very good counter pick into the Jarvan with the Thresh coming through, and Phillip picking up the Scion for themselves. Jarvan as well. It is very difficult to play Jarvan into the Scion. You only have about 3 levels where you're stronger, and then you just get Scion and Jarvan starts crying.
Also, it's just big front line for the Aphelios to stand in front of. No way! Blitzcrank is going to be the counter for Joey against Aphelios Thresh. Interesting.
It's okay, right? Blitzcrank is good against Thresh for the same reason that Nautilus is good against Thresh. Thresh will root himself whenever he starts going for those death sentences, and if he's not standing in minions, that's Blitzcrank's opportunity to get basically a free hook in return, and it doesn't even matter at that point if Winsome lands a stun, because Blitzcrank is also effectively stunned himself while his hook is going off, and great, you're already on top of me, you're not pulling yourself in, it's not a useful death sentence anymore, so there's going to be a lot of focus on how Winsome actually positions when he goes for these abilities. But as we start getting into the second half of the bans, Cho'Gath ban makes a lot of sense. It has been the best counter pick to Scion thus far, wins a lot of front-to-back team fights because of it, and not going to be available for ADD.
I'm actually surprised that Immortals didn't lock that in before the Blitz, unless...
I'm not. Did you see ADD's performance on this character versus Bajani?
You know what? Fair enough. He did get solo killed as the Cho'Gath into the Scion, so maybe they're going to put ADD on something else that he's more comfortable piloting. It will not be the Cho'Gath, but nothing else is banned from the top laners. Important to note.
Viger ban? Who's that? Is that a Balulu ban? Sorry, did I miss something yesterday? Maybe. I was gone all day. I did not see that happen, but I did see a stun come through. I just saw it. Viger Cage.
I believe they did play it yesterday against Dignitas in their win. Yeah, it was like the Viger Graves combo.
All right, well, very cool stuff to come through. I want to make sure you don't have to deal with that, and the Cassante will be the answer here for ADD, and so we will need to see the jungle coming out for Yuji as well as the AD carry left for Spyrex. We are desperately in need of magic damage here coming out for FlyQuest, and with the Azir already banned, that has been one of Spyrex's most common picks in the mid lane. It feels like he's being pushed towards something like a Sylas.
They were hovering the Viego earlier and they didn't lock it in, and it didn't get banned. So maybe they just go for the Viego. Okay, Viego locked in for Yuji. This is a champion. I'm loving where the jungle meta is going. If we keep going this way, I'm a happy guy, because it's been all tanks, and Yuji is a player that is known for his assassins. He loves things. We never got to see the Zed jungle. I would love to see a Zed jungle at some point, but I think Viego's probably the closest that we'll get in that regard. It just feels like something that will enable Yuji and the playstyle he likes. But the Ahri is actually what's locked in for Spyrex.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Yuji as well. I love the fact that counter jungling has become stronger again on this patch, but oh boy, this is a tough one right now. We've seen Balulu Zoe, probably the best Zoe in the entire world. His opponents will say playing against Balulu on this character and playing against literally anyone else on this character is night and day. He will do things you didn't even know were possible on this champion. And while Spyrex's Ahri can punish it, I guarantee Balulu has played against better Ahris than Spyrex.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work from Spyrex to carry in this one. He got Penta yesterday.
True.
Let's see if he can step up to the plate again today. It's an odd draft from Immortals Challengers. When you look at what all the champions want to do, you have some champs that are going in, some champs that are pulling people towards you, some champs that are playing from range, some champs that want to front to back. It feels like a grab bag of different, play styles, and I don't know if they're going to find a way to make it all come together, because that's what I see from FlyQuest Challengers, is a much more clear game plan of how they want to play out fights. I feel like it's easier to visualize, but then again, you're against Balulu Zoe. So visualizing against a Zoe is very different than visualizing against most other champs.
And I start loading onto the Rift. Remember, if Immortals get a single win today, they prevent some of our tiebreakers possibilities. AoE and IMTC can no longer go into a tiebreaker if IMT gets a game. And so, as IMT rushes out onto the field, we'll get to see what can actually happen. And, ooh, I love the attempt. Unfortunately, Masu was standing. So, to be fair, this is important. Masu, most of the time, when you're standing in the strike rush, is supposed to get hit by that hook, right? Where Masu is standing is actually incredibly dangerous if you expect people to walk in from the bottom lane.
Yeah.
That's part of why they have Philip down there to try and ward that off, have a little bit of vision, and so it allows Masu to stand in a better place. That's actually really big for FlyQuest that he didn't have any of his summoners blown right off the bat.
Yeah, he would have had to flash immediately, and that would have been starting lane in a really rough spot. Philip is still bot lane. What is going on? Joey does not see him. Philip started Q. He's just not going top. He's going to have to teleport up there, but Joey, there's no way you expect this. You even see Winsome there. What's the game plan here, FlyQuest?
He's going to try and find a cheese kill. He can walk up. They know that there's no ward there.
Okay, death sentence. Oh, Joey flashed it, and Philip's just a back now. Okay, you know what? I guarantee you Immortals still don't know Philip's there.
They actually might have seen him as they moved between bushes, but either way, I'm a little bit surprised that they did choose to go for the back between, but finding Joey's flashes, you know, for the teleport, it is okay, but that gives a lot of opportunity for IMT to try and punish it, but we see that Chad already on the other side of the map. Philip needs to be punished individually by ADD for this teleport loss to really affect the game at all, so FlyQuest feels like they get away with effectively a free flash.
Maybe. I mean, we could see Chad still head back up there. You never know. Okay, another hook from Joey. This time onto Winsome. As Flash. Flashes away. One more auto from Wixie. Oh, he's got the rockets,
he thought he had heal.
Range.
Damn, that's brutal actually coming out from Wixie. Throwing out an extra summoner, thinking that they had the movement speed. Ooh, this is already a bit of a messy start coming out between these games, but it creates a whole lot of opportunities for both sides of the map. It is really big coming through for the fact that Wixie has no flash, whereas Masu has both their summoner spells, and look at where Yuji is. He's already looking to punish.
Yeah, Wixie's in a lot of trouble here. Immortals have the wave in a decent spot. It looks like, I'm counting the minions. Yeah, they have one extra range minion. So the wave actually is going to bounce back. Oh, Joey, this is not the time to go for something cheeky.
Oh, got it.
Pull Masu in. Flash
Yuji's
goes
gone.
available, and actually Yuji went back, so Masu could be in some trouble here. Death Sentence misses onto Wixie. Good sidestep. So Immortals actually pulled that off, and now Chad's coming down. Okay, we got both junglers here.
The drama.
The Chad. Spot him. Okay, Chad's pretty low, so Yuji gets the stun. Looking for him. Winsome should not have the lantern anymore. Okay, Chad's out.
The drama down here
this is crazy.
Is absolutely wild. So many summoners going back and forth. Philip starts his time down here. Yuji comes down here. Chad comes down here, but nothing has actually cemented a lead just quite yet. Chad's still chilling down in the bottom lane, still looking for even more opportunities. And they shouldn't know. Also has flash.
Yeah, he used the ghost, but he can flash the flag and drag combo.
Yeah.
And now he's going for a back. Okay. Yeah, I think the action's done. I think we're just going to go for some resets here.
That's really big here for Wixie and Joey. This Blitzcrank has already paid dividends, landing a couple of super crucial hooks already here on the bottom side of the map. Will give Joey and Wixie a bit of an advantage, and that is really, really big for the way that this team has been playing so far and finding some of their wins. When Wixie and Joey do well, they're way more likely to win. But Philip, you got to be careful.
He's got a lot of mana to work with, and ADD does not. I actually think that Philip could just win this at some point here. If he's got 2 points in his W, does a lot. Chad will try and chase down Yuji. He's a level behind. Bold to go for the invade right now. He's just also looking to cover ADD, track where Yuji is, as Philip is winning the 1v1 against ADD right now. Okay, Chad's jumping out. Oh, Bubble lands mid. Spyre's taking some damage. Balulu's got the ignite. One more auto. He's just going to solo kill him. First blood to Balulu.
And what do we say? Playing against Balulu, Zoe is like playing against something entirely differently. Finds a solo kill, gets Spyrax's flash, gets out. Balulu finding the solo kill as the first way into this game. Philip looking to be unpunished so far, but he does need to be careful as the wave does still crash. And even though that was only our first kill, we're seeing so much action across the board. So many times that these teams are testing each other. And it feels like both of them, as we were talking about, spiking at the right time. We'll take another look at this one. Balulu coming in, has the ghost. And the big thing here, is as they go in and actually land the bubble, there's so much damage that comes out from this. The Ghost is used for the little dots. You get a couple more bubbles from the next Summoner spell, and the last one doesn't even need any more real damage. Just the auto attack is enough to get Bolulu a kill there.
And getting the sidestep on the charm as well. Spyrex could have turned that around. Oh, so close.
Yeah. Chad, though, is falling a little bit behind Eugene. It's part of why FlyQuest still have a gold advantage across the board. You do have to remember that every single jungle clear has had an extra 60 gold added to it from what it was on the previous patch. And that does mean that Yuji is getting a lot more farm, a lot more money than he was expecting.
We have an update. There was a pause in the game. There was a PC that crashed, so we're swapping those out right now. Hopefully it won't be too long of a delay. I don't know which side it was from. I don't think it affected any of the plays. So from what I've heard so far from production, it's not going to be a chrono break situation. It's not Spyrex saying, wait, my charm hit Bolulu. What's going on there? But it gives us some time to catch up on how action-packed the early game has been, because it hasn't just been that solo kill in the mid lane. The junglers have been tracking each other all game. Bot lane, I want to go back to that level 1. Philip on the Scion. I have never seen him do something like that before. I really want to talk to the players to figure out what was the game plan. Like, was it just, hey, he's going to stick around in case they try and go for the brush? Why did he stay for so long?
I mean, we've seen a couple of these situations where teams are like hard reading each other, or trying to at the very least, over the past week and a half, just because people have started looking for all these cool opportunities to punish different people. I think that it made a lot of sense sending Scion down there, because Scion can basically single-handedly stop almost any kind of like 5-man invade, and we already talked a little bit about the positioning that Mazu had in the Tri-Brush. If you're playing in your own solo queue games and you're not playing against a hook champion, don't stand where Mazu did. The big reason is if you stand there, you're not going to be able to see people before they come around the corner. You will not have any time to react, and if they blind hook the corner, you're going to die.
Most folks, when they invade bot lane, they just go through the river, but the real secret is go through bot, hug the wall, because you're going to get the least amount of time for them to react before they see you. We'll bring Sierra back on here to help us out while we wait for the players to get their PCs set up. Sierra, what you drinking?
I got some tea. You talk about invading this broadcast back in. But, you know.
Welcome back.
Gotta keep it a little lively. Gotta change things up. I mean, already.
I got my coffee in front of me.
You got your oh, hell. Cheers. Let's go.
Cheers. I don't have any.
Cheers, Josh. What you got?
I have an empty mug, but I have it here, so.
Well, you didn't have to tell us it was empty. You could have just pretended,
exactly,
you know?
Exactly.
Wait.
Well, it's my
Twitter.
favorite kind of tea. It's empty.
So we can screenshot this. We all need our mugs on at the same time. Be like, this is what Challengers League does when there's a pause, you know? Cheers to Salt League, everybody. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so the level
content.
1 play from Philip, I like it actually now that I think about it more, because Scion doesn't actually need his teleport as early as a lot of other top laners. If you get kind of chunked out and have to back, as long as you're level 6, you can just ult back to lane. It actually doesn't affect you nearly as much as most top laners would be affected by that play. So when I think about it in that lens, I actually like it even more now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you will start to see from time to time as Scion comes back into the meta. There's a lot of cool things you can do as Scion before the laning phase even starts in terms of taking away jungle camps.
Yeah, invading and dying to the camp, but still getting the buff.
Yeah!
Also just down for the chaos potential that was over in that bot lane, you know? Like, sometimes the beginning of a game can be pretty boring, but, you know, that's the whole, going to do, is he not going to, you know?
What's funny is that I don't even, maybe they did see Philip, maybe they didn't, but the same result would have happened whether Philip was there or not. Like, Joey was still probably going to have to flash the death sentence. It's just funny how the play worked out. Joey pulled the Thresher, was like, wait a minute. We're level 1 Blitzcrank Jinx, and there's no minions here to help us out. Maybe we shouldn't actually try and go for this crazy trade against Nephelios.
But I do want to kind of focus on...
Blitzcrank pick, though, I just want to talk about
cool.
that. Yeah,
it's a big Joey thing, for sure. I mean, finding all these interesting counter picks in the support position. I've known a couple of support players like that in my own teams that I played over the years, where they just really, really want counter pick in the bottom lane just so that they can really decide kind of the lane. And in a meta like this, where you can get advantages for your bottom lane, it's really big. But I kind of want to use that to zoom in on the fact that Wixie is winning this lane. Wixie is stronger in this lane, and for a player who has been in the amateur academy ecosystem semi-pro challengers ecosystem for a lot longer than Masu has, that is something that we have been needing to see, this return to form from WIXY. We have seen flashes of that brilliance, but it hasn't been as consistent as it was in 2022.
Yeah, it almost feels like Masu is the next generation of WIXY, right? We see this every year where new rookies come in and we kind of compare them naturally to each other. It's like, okay, well, WIXY accomplished this in his first year. Masu's done this already. And it's tough for WIXY to be in that position, obviously, because in your sophomore year, sometimes there's higher expectations based on the precedent you set before, but he did set the bar pretty high for his first year debut, and we were all shocked when 100 Thieves announced that they weren't going forward with him going into the summer split for last year Academy. So shout out to WIXY, still got onto an amateur team, still made it to Proving Grounds.
Both of them AoE.
Huh?
Well, he was on 3 different teams last year in the fall and the summer split, right? No Orc and then AoE Ginger Turmeric, which had some fantastic
legendary
results.
run.
And the legends.
AoE Cows. There were a lot of teams that were playing underneath the AoE
I don't believe
banner
that one.
last year.
That one didn't happen. There's no way.
It's there. I wonder if they had any results.
Can you just repeat that for a second, please? It was AoE what?
AoE Cows.
Like the ones that move.
Yes. The other players that were on it.
Interesting.
It's actually a lot of the AoE roster, the wildcard roster currently. Moose Hater, Keel, and Duo King were all still on that roster back at the time.
Sure. Yeah, the legendary run, of course, for Summer Proving Grounds. So WIXY bouncing back and so far beating Masu. I hear that we're getting ready to hop back into game, though. So I think we're going to hop in there. Thank you, Sierra, for coming on and showing us your tea. Get out of here.
And cats?
Oh, there's a cat. That's a dog.
No, that's not.
That's a cat.
Not a dog.
That's a cat. It's just really close to the camera. Okay. Happy we deduced that. Now get back into frames here. We can't show those plushies on broadcast. All right, we're in. Immortals against FlyQuest Challengers. If Immortals pick up a game, they deny any tiebreaker possibilities between themselves and AoE. But if they lose both these games, then there's a chance that the AoE Dignitas match gets very exciting. They're on the Dragon right now. They have to push bot lane. And will there be a contest from FlyQuest?
There shouldn't be. It's not really easy for anybody to come over. They don't have the vision. They don't have the priority. Philip has been stuck underneath his turret, farming this wave up that ADD was able to crash because Philip didn't have the teleport before. And of course, oh no.
I don't think Balulu will have enough to get a kill here. Yeah.
But still, I mean, the fact that Balulu is able to get this damage so consistently against different members is massive. And now he's got the slow.
Yeah. He just has no fear. He's like, I'm going to find Yuji, guys. I'm just going to walk right up at him, lock him down, and who gets the kill? It's Balulu. 2-0 for this mid laner.
I'm telling you guys, this guy Zoe is next level. His ability to move around team fights is legitimately what got this guy to Worlds from Turkey multiple times in the past. And so Balulu, there's a reason why he's looking for this opportunity and why he's already been brought up to the LCS roster for IMT. But so far, it's just been beating up on Spyrex and now Yuji quite a bit. I think the fact that he walks forward and has the Randuins is actually what really breaks Yuji's back here. This slow, the reduction of crit, the reduction of damage coming through is big. And as we see FLYC coming through with a bit of a showing off, there's not a whole lot for Yuji left to do. He gives a flash, but you do that against Zoe, you just give them a flash right on back.
Not many mid laners in this league would have the confidence to walk up into the Viego mist and say, yeah, no, he doesn't have the damage to kill me, and I'm just going to kind of walk at him and make his life miserable. Now he hits level 6. Maybe Yuji could look to punish Balulu for that over-aggression in the future, but as of that last play, very impressive that Balulu had the read of, nope, I can do this.
Yeah, and so we'll see what Balulu can actually do. Has been crucial to all of the victories that we have been seeing, but here comes the choo-choo coming out from Philip as well to move towards the bottom side as the play action switches towards the top side of the map as we do have a Rift Herald on the board. IMT a little bit slower on the rotation. And will they actually be able to find a fight here? Philip does have TP, but he just uses ultimate bottom lane.
Let's see if WIXY and Balulu roam up for this. As of right now, it's just 3 members of FlyQuest, Joey and Chad. S2 are pushing FlyQuest off, and now the other members are coming up. Who wins the smite fight? Going to come down to the 50-50, and Chad picks up the help of Balulu. Joey pulls back in. Masu goes to flash over the wall, but that will not save you. Chad picks up a kill.
honestly, IMT just stronger in all these fights, and FlyQuest, we praise them so much for their new shot calling, but this time, feels as though IMT, I've just kind of found something new. This is not something that we've been seeing from the IMT roster a whole lot before, and now Yuji wins some.
They have 4 members here. Yuji and Winsome, nice flash set up there from Chad. Winsome all alone now under the turret. Let's see who gets the kill this time. It's a double to Wixie. The Jinx is now getting fed.
Where's this version of Immortals the rest of the season? They've been looking so good. This might be the cleanest game I think I've seen from them this entire year. Now they drop the Rift Herald as well. That can be an entire turret going down before 10 minutes. So many plays getting picked up, and they're trying to give as much of that money as possible to Wixie. He gets a play, Balulu gets a play. Wixie is now incredibly fed. 2 kills, 4 plays already going over, back to 2,000 gold.
Yeah, you're about to spend 2,000 gold. You're 1,000 ahead of the Aphelios. Mid lane's 1,000 gold up as well. This is a strong start for Immortals Challengers, as they are not interested in a tiebreaker scenario going forward. I mean, I just go back to the expectation at the beginning of the split compared to the performance throughout, but then Joey, in his interview we had with him last, said, look, we're confident. We know that we scale. We know that we're a team that just gets better the longer we spend together, and this seems to be the results of that.
Yeah. And on the other side, it has been fascinating to watch how FlyQuest, their early games was something that we were praising them for when Winsome actually joined the team. They were a team that had a ton of success with early ganks coming out from Yuji, but the one time he kind of looked at a lane in the bottom side, he ended up backing away because there was no real play opportunity there, and the rest of his bottom lane kind of takes a beating. And then the next time he tries to go for something, he gets killed by Balulu. So one of the major win conditions that we've seen from FlyQuest of playing towards his early game is suddenly not on the table, and it's not as though FlyQuest have this crazy scaling composition either. It's really just Aphelios.
It's even more impressive when you factor in that Balulu has been doing double time as Chad actually caught out of here. Okay, he's going to go down to Spyrax. That's a good pickup for FlyQuest Challengers. They're first on the board.
That's big. They really needed that money.
The setup! Balulu was ready for that hook. He was setting up the Battle Star well before Joey landed it. And Wixie snipes the Death Rocket. This synergy from all members of Immortals is out of this world.
It's so much better than everything we've seen from these guys so far this year. They're going to set themselves up for a second dragon, and Joey's going to look for this too.
Okay, almost got Masu there. Very tip of the rocket grab. Winsome's still level 5. Jess hits 6. Flashes forward onto Wixie. Very aggressive. That's cleanse early. Masu with the ultimate. Wixie's in trouble. Winsome lands a death sentence. Masu gets the first one. Can you chase down Joey? Ghost is popped, but Chad is here. Masu now in a 1v2 as the Aphelios locked into the Cataclysm. I don't think he's got the damage for this, but Joey does not have the mana. So Masu can walk out. Chad almost has it. Masu drain taking up. Masu might just turn it back. Masu!
Oh man, that's 200 years right there as Spyrax is forced out of the mid lane. But man, Masu with the red buff, with just enough damage, is able to turn it around. And the fact that they find these kills prevents IMT from picking up their second dragon, gives them some much needed gold. They're still behind, but these individual plays starting to come out from FlyQuest gives us hope that this game is still going to be close.
The fact that they were able to pull that off, the counter play, it starts with the pick out of Chad. Let's go back a couple of minutes. This was solid from FlyQuest, but the counter from Immortals, watch this. Watch where Balulu positions here, knowing Joey's going to hit this hook.
Yeah, as he's already starting to get ready, he pulls it out, and as soon as the hook actually lands, gets a huge amount of damage down, and this rocket coming through at the same time, picking him up on the far side of the fight, but we're starting to set up for another dragon, it looks like, as we take another look at this 1v1, 2v2 that ends up breaking out in the bottom lane. Winsome gets level 6 here, and that is huge. Recognizing that Joey has no mana, is effectively not a strong champion, gives Winsome the confidence necessary to go for this, because Joey's just sitting there as a body. He's just a health bar. You do not need to really worry about him, and as the ultimate comes through, they get the last bit of damage down onto Wixie. Yes, Wixie actually is able to find the kill, but because the hook lands, Joey is forced to remain. Masu is encouraged to stay in the fight, and Chad coming through. The big thing here, actually a little bit of criticism towards Masu. He spends like 2 seconds there trying to right-click outside of the Cataclysm and not auto-attacking, and the fact that he has the damage left anyway and has the confidence to go back in is a big sign that Masu will have more opportunities for growth later on.
I love your 200 years. Get 200 years, Chad. You know?
Yeah, he's got the freaking red. God, he just heals
That is
so
kind of
much.
what happened there. I think he could have ghosted a little early. Obviously, there's things to look back at there from Masu's perspective, but still impressive. He turned it around. Now we're on the Dragon. Immortals started up. FlyQuest, think about walking forward. Spyrax is over the wall with the Spirit Rush. Okay, Smite is good for Chad, and the Death Sentence misses from Winsome, so Immortals are out of there. Joey lands a rocket grab over the wall to Winsome, though, so now the Thresh is picked up after the play should have been done.
Yeah, I mean, that's just big mistake from Winsome, right? You see the ward going down. You know that's exactly where Blitzcrank just walked over to. Easy punish coming through from Joey. You can't be making those kind of mistakes in a game as tense as this one already. FlyQuest, they find themselves in a really tough position right now. They're still down 3,000 gold, and the two members of IMT that can't be fed in Balulu and Wixie still not having anything going on. On the other side of the map, though, we do have two top laners that have not yet participated.
I mean, we're looking at this potential gank from Yuji. I thought you were getting excited about like a kill happening up there.
No,
but
I'm just saying.
0-0-0.
When these guys come in, it is more likely that Philip, based on the champions that they're playing, will be able to participate and help them front to back for Masu than ADD will. And that's mostly a character read more than anything else, just because it's hard.
Look at that trade.
Yeah, Cassante does need a whole lot of kind of setup. Like, it's difficult to play this character in the same way that it is to play Sion. Sion, you just kind of stand in front, whereas Cassante, you need to be very careful how you're actually using your ultimate, and we will see whether or not Philip can be the difference maker in these upcoming fights.
That's what I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about ease of execution of the comps. Immortals have to be a little more creative, as Joey showing his creativity right now. Waiting over the wall. Okay. Winsome not hit by that rocket grab. Herald has been started. Tanks are wailing away each other while FlyQuest walk in. They have control of the access point, but they give it up because they're going into the pit. This might be their downfall. The bubble does not hit onto Masu, but ADD's looking right at him. I'm looking at the 80 carries. Nice death sentence out of Joey. He's pulled in. He's down. First kill over to Masu as ADD's jumping onto the back line. Cannot claim it. Yuji, ADD's down while Philip front lines. Ease of execution from the comp. The tank works. Engage from Chad. Cleanse from Wixie as he gets hit by the charm. Balulu is just throwing out heat-seeking missiles right now. The FlyQuest challengers need to respect that, so they trade kills, top laner for top laner. Plays over.
Joey also goes down, and extra kill does go through for FlyQuest, who actually picked up the Herald. It looks like it was Chad who got that one for IMT, and so ends up being about even gold-wise on the play, but maybe buying a little bit more time for FlyQuest. The fact that they are trading at least up in kills. The gold lead is not currently growing for IMT, but they will still have the Herald around the next upcoming Dragon. And so far, with the way that Wixie has been positioning, the fact that this guy is still so skyrocketed, Masu needs every kill he can find here.
Ooh. Hey. I like these looks from Joey. Always fishing for something. I think that's one of the big marks of a Blitzcrank because you got to be active. But let's get another look at this. Yeah, it looked like FlyQuest were trying to get into the pit a little too quick. I would have liked them to maybe be more patient before, but Chad stays on the objective.
Yeah. ADD also, he waits really long on his ultimate, finds himself in the middle of a ton of enemy members. Of course, Philip does the same thing on the other side of the fight, so both top laners still trying to find their way in, but a crucial charm from Spyrax keeps everybody alive on the side of FlyQuest, and everybody will end up disengaging. But very scattered, very chaotic fight from both sides, and we really need to see FlyQuest try and set up their battle lines a little bit more. They are the team that we're looking at as a easier kind of front to back with flankers because of how much damage Masu will be doing.
The Aphelios is getting gold, which feels great. I'd say Wixie's still getting more gold. If we can actually take a look at the current gold differential between the teams here. Philip, meanwhile, side laning against Balulu here. I think this is probably fine for right now. There's really no big objectives to fight over. It's just about getting gold where you can. Because it seems like Wixie should be ahead given the current CS differential and the kills to assists.
One of the things that I do kind of want to point out is the way that FlyQuest composition works right now is actually very similar to how Golden Guardians have found a lot of their wins. You have a mid laner who's going to need to flank, just like Young has been doing. You have a top laner like Concept who's going to be chilling in the front of the fight, being that tank. And then you have a jungler like Rosethorn who's also going to be looking for these flanks. This is very similar to how Golden Guardians have actually found a lot of their wins, but crucially, it's not how FlyQuest have found a lot of their wins. Spyrex is usually on these characters that are big playmakers who can have game-changing ultimates in these big fights. And he's not on that right now with the R. He's going to have to showcase that he can pick off Wixie or Balulu as an assassin, which he's had mixed success so far throughout the split.
Yeah, this isn't going to be the Spyrex Azir where he goes in for the big game-ending shuffle. It's going to be maybe a game-ending charm, but it's much different effect between those two champs and also different way they have to play it out. Bubble lands onto Winsome. Balulu's still throwing out the poke. It looks like we're just going to do a little bit of nay-ramming here as the Dragon's coming off cooldown.
Yeah, Rip Charles is getting thrown down. IMT have a lot more vision to play around. It's so scary to walk in to Blitzcrank and Zoe blind. It's another bubble lands.
Really not a lot of follow-up onto the tank, but it means that Immortals do have control of the access point. Spyrex goes in. They're causing havoc right now.
There you go, Masu.
They've already taken down Chad. This is looking good for FlyQuest to start off. Wixie untouched, though. The Jinx can free fire, gets knocked up. Phillips onto Wixie. Balulu's over the wall. Balulu's going to just carry the fight. No way! Balulu with the shutdown. I think this could be maybe a penta angle. I don't know if the double came through or not. Has a full health bar. FlyQuest challengers are low. Another bubble lands on the Spyrex. He gets to do. Balulu just popping off solo in this fight.
Balulu, he's so good, man. I don't know what to say. That was some of the best Zoe play we've ever seen in this level. That's some of the best Zoe play we've seen at the top level, too. He finds 4 in a fight that looks doomed. That is exactly what IMT have been needing, and they continue to find another win. But, Steve, normally we'd say we're going to get a round 2. I don't think Philip and Spyrex are going to be alive in time to actually deal with this dragon because of how long that fight actually lasted.
Yeah, Yuji's not going for it. How do you beat a front to back? You go for unique angles. Zoe is the queen of unique angles. You have to mark the Zoe in these fights. FlyQuest Challengers did not. I really hope we get a replay of that because
we're gonna.
Where Balulu positions is perfect. He's not getting hit. He's able to throw out paddle stars. FlyQuest is all looking at Wixie, the Jinx, who at this point is also a threat. Like, you can't just ignore Jinx. It makes sense FlyQuest are doing what they're doing. But then the Zoe just hard punishes. That is a Mishai Soul Stealer on Balulu.
Yeah, he's already got the Horizon Focus, the Ludens, the Magi's coming through. I mean, he hasn't died yet. It's going to get crazy value if he's able to continue that up. Whereas FlyQuest, I mean, we got to see the front-to-back team fight that they really, really wanted, and now as we're starting to set up, it's still pick opportunities, but it's the wrong way! It's the wrong way!
Damage! Oh, it's just disgusting. That sentence is no response as Joey is tanking up. This could just be a Baron angle now for Immortals.
Dude, it feels like Balulu has been angry this entire time. Right now there's an LCS like, I just am here to style on kids.
Okay, Masu's going up. Oh, does not get sniped by the Zoe. EDD goes in, wins some falls. As Masu and Yuji are going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting now because Philip cannot tank all of that. Masu's positioned pretty well, but watch for Balulu still on the flank here. Looking at Yuji right now, and the jungler is popped. Get back here, says Joey. That is an ace for Immortals.
Oh my god, Immortals, they do not want to have to play any more tiebreakers. They are well on their way to winning this first game. And again, so much money. 22 stacks on Balulu's Magi's. He was at 10 the last time we looked at that. Wixie continue to find even more and more money, and this is fantastic. They know they don't need to send everybody to be here to kill the Baron. They're splitting it up, making sure they get all the farm, getting some damage on the turrets as well. And even though we saw Philip picking up the bottom lane turret previously, FlyQuest, you don't win this, Spyrex.
Okay, he's still looking for it. ADD's not interested. Thinks, okay, maybe there's more members of FlyQuest around, I'd assume. But let's get another look at this replay. Oh, I'm sad we don't get the previous one. Woo! Ooh, that's a lot of burst.
That's a lot of burst coming through, right? Just the amount of damage. And as you called out before, when Joey found the hook onto Yuji and the instant response from Balulu does the exact same thing here as Joey starts looking for the hook. The way that Balulu plays this as well, just around the side and getting that slow, forcing Masu out of the fight. He's not able to hit the entire time. Yuji's not able to hit. Those are two of your biggest damage dealers who can't do anything. And Jet did a great segment on LCS where you need to have your carries connected to your tanks. Neither Winsome nor Philip had a carry connected to them. They weren't actually tanking for anybody. They were just getting hit. And IMT, a clean ace against FlyQuest.
Balulu's positioning in that fight, too. It's what split the fight. The tanks went forward, the carries couldn't. Not because they got chunked by Zoe, but because Zoe just made her presence known.
Okay.
Now Immortals actually walk deep into enemy territory. That's a teleport coming through. Chad's out of there. Joey's frontlining. Balulu sniping! And Wixie picks up the kill. FlyQuest thought they had something, but Immortals are showing signs of a brand new look here in the final day of the regular season. This is the Immortals that was promised. Snipes him out of the lantern! Joey!
Oh,
just
my lantern.
styling on FlyQuest right now. What a resurgence from this team.
They get ADD at the very least, but oh my Lanta, right out of the lantern. IMT looking on fire. Where has this been this entire year, Steve? Where has this been? This is what we were expecting from IMT going in at the very beginning. The star players on this roster look so good, but Balulu, he's totally fine.
I would have liked Masu to actually throw out the ultimate there. I'm surprised he didn't try and look for something more. Lulu does have the Gale Force, though, so it has a little bit more mobility. How far do they chase? I mean, honestly, I think FlyQuest have to chase. Like, the game's not going to get better for them. Maybe they can find something here, but Immortals, they disengage. They're out of there, so FlyQuest are going to have to find some other way. This looked promising.
It looked promising. I mean, it does start off as a 5v3, but Balulu around the side ignores Philip entirely to get the damage onto Yuji. And then it's a little bit weird, right? The rest of this fight does break out a little bit as FlyQuest a little bit unsure how to actually redraw their battle lines. They try and do the exact same thing, but this time Philip's in full vision. And this is the game-changing moment, right? The hook, which looked like it was intended for Masu, gets blocked by Philip, and that's going to be another kill that goes through. The only thing that gives anything back over is ADD starts feeling himself a little too much.
He almost got Masu there, but we're back to live. Looks like Winsome's already chunked out to start.
This is for Mountain
Lulu
Soul.
is in a good spot here with the bubbles. ADD's looking for a flank angle. Mortals don't have to force this. They could be patient right now. Let Balulu do his work. They aggro the dragon. Spyrax is looking for his own flank too right now. This could be big from Spyrax. Oh, he spotted.
Okay. Ooh.
That battle start was close.
Yeah, here's ADD. He's going in.
Silence before the fight breaks out. ADD's front lining. Balulu's still looking for pepper shots right now. Philip gets knocked back by ADD. Philip, the tank, is taking a lot of damage. Joey over the wall, gets hit by the charm into stasis. He's just tanking up a lot of the cooldowns. And that is Dragon secured. Philip looks to engage and just gets pops for it. FlyQuest were too late on the play. That is Dragon Soul to Immortals.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. FlyQuest just being dismantled once again by IMT. Even though Balulu didn't land anything, the amount of zoning he had, another hook!
Oh, I love it from Joey. And Masu thought maybe he could kill Chad, who's tanking turret. He does. But at what cost? Dies along with the mid laner. That means it's Yuji, Winsome, and Philip spawning in 15 seconds. Immortals might have enough time to just go for the game. Woo! Yuji. That was Gale Force Zoe right there.
That's what happens when you play against the best Zoe in the entire world. He has games like this.
And Winsome's going forward thinking maybe I can keep the 100% win rate dream alive. But there's not much hope for that. Balulu Zoe's inevitable. Philip now back on the front line, but with no Nexus turrets. This is game to Immortals, denying any chance of AoE with a tiebreaker scenario against them. They will cement themselves in the standing with this win in game number 1. They have a chance still to get another win after this. Game 1 to Immortals.
Oh my gosh. We see IMT, they dodge the tiebreakers they would have to play against AoE. No possibility of that. They also stop FlyQuest Challengers' undefeated streak with Winsome back-to-back, and it wasn't close.
That was from beginning to end. I mean, there were some moments where FlyQuest was like, okay, maybe they have some avenues into this. Most of those were in like the first couple of minutes. But we reached this point where Immortals were more proactive on the map. Joey was everywhere. He was landing these blitz hooks. Joey Balulu's combo of like a blitz hook landing, the Zoe ready with the paddle star. Beautiful stuff. Cannot wait to see what they have cooking for game number 2. But with that in mind, we're going to send it to a short break while the players get ready and rest while they prepare for their second game of the day. And then we'll bring back Sierra for our halftime show after this.